Hello and welcome to another opening range mastery training video for opening range success formula and day trading with hot scans. In this video I'm going to review a few trades, some that worked, some that didn't, just because there are some really fundamental points of what we do that were exemplified by the market action on this particular day. Now, just to give you some context of the overall market, here are the SPYs. The day before this day, we opened higher. We sold off pretty strongly and made its way all the way back up for a strong close. Now, the day that we're going to look at, the market's opened lower. All right, not a lot lower, but enough lower. Now, here's the pivot, floor trader pivot. Here's the pivot from the day before. So we had positive stack. We opened right on top of the floor trader pivot. And we opened lower in part because of a little bit of a concern over Intel's earnings. As it turned out, Intel opened a little lower as well and then proceeded to rally. The market followed it. So as you can see, the backdrop of the day was a lower open and then a move higher, which continues higher pretty healthily. All right, now having said that, remember two important points. One, the market opened lower, and two, after that, it was a strong day. With that in mind, I'm going to focus on a setup that was just really beautiful. Especially for a lower open in a positive market. We're going to look at Bud. We traded it. I'm going to show it to you on the daily and the 5-minute to give you a little bit more of a big picture, and then we'll go to the trading on the 1-minute. First, let's take a look at the daily, see why this thing was in focus, and point out some key points. All right, so Bud's been doing pretty well. This you can see big volume gap up here, I believe was earnings, and it's been consolidating ever since. Here's what I really focused in on today. These levels of support in here. And you can see yesterday Bud closed a little lower than it opened, and today, on the day we're looking at, it opened higher. Remember, the market opened lower, Bud opened higher in a flag with the potential. It tried to break yesterday, but so did the market, got pulled down with the market, recovered somewhat with the market. The point is that with this pattern, if we can, it's not a totally accurate trend line, but if we can break that consolidation after coming down and testing this just key level of support, there's no reason why we shouldn't have expectations that it could rally back up to the high of that big day very quickly, if not in one day. Now this is a stock that only has an average range of just over $1.16. Okay, so if it were to do that, it would be an extraordinary day, and it has that extraordinary day potential in it. So that's what I was focused on in the beginning. But when we go to the intraday chart, I'm going to point out these highs right here and their relation to this day's low, the day we're trading, and the floor trader pivot right below. All these three things added up to just an enormous level of significance right below where your entry point would be. Alright, so let me see if it's easier to see on the 5-minute chart for you. Then we'll go to the 1-minute. Okay, so those daily highs, and sorry for the kind of mess here. I use a horizontal line. Prior daily high here is around just under 77.60. I think the actual number is 77.56. And then if I go to the high The other day's high, I believe it's around 77.50. 77.52. So I round that off, call it about the 77.60 to 77.50 level. Now, it gaps higher. I'm going to leave that line in. Gaps higher when the market gaps lower, and the high of the opening range lines up with the high of the prior day. High of the prior day was 84. The high of the second bar of the day is 86. R1 is 85. A lot of things lining up at the top. So a breakout on a gap up, definitely, no question. But we actually bought the opening range reversal on a really close call, tapped the opening range here. The robots actually got the signal. Regardless of whether the robots had gotten the signal or not, I would have been looking to buy any reason to be buying a reversal down in here, because here's my pivot. Here's my prior pivot, so positively stacked. And here's that 77.50 level. The market responded to that 77.50. Not with enormous volume, but pretty much the biggest volume of the day aside from that first 5 minutes. Okay, so the market told you it was looking at that level. We knew going into the day it was an important level, and if we could buy against a 77.50 level and 30 cents lower, not even 30 cents, 20 cents lower, we've got the floor trader pivot. Here's the 3-day pivot numbers as well. Had a great stop. All right, so that was why I jumped right on the opening range reversal when it got ticked in. And this is also why I said you might want to consider buying through the opening range breakout as well. I actually did. I added. So I had more than a full position in Bud, and this is why, as it was taking off, and remember, the day got stronger. All right, so the only negative that Bud had going for it was all during this consolidation, the market was going higher. So the question in your mind could have been, well, why isn't Bud going with the rest of the market? And that's a legitimate concern. We had a great stop in place, so I wasn't that worried about it, thinking that maybe it's just another day of consolidation. But when it starts to break and starts to move after all this pattern, you really want to be on it. So how does that look with the robots? This is kind of how we called it. All right, you can see we got the long entry right in here. It wasn't a great looking long entry. The key to it, and the reason I really jumped on it, was all the reasons I just described below. All right, and then you saw the big volume on the 5-minute chart on the breakout. Let you know that this was worth a breakout trade as well. So all those things coming together: lower open in the market, higher open in the stock, great daily flag pattern, and a great stop. You have a setup like that, you just want to focus on it, and that is in fact what I did. I really focused on it. Thought it was going to be unfortunate that I had, as it was consolidating in here and the rest of the market was moving higher, but turned out it worked out. Whether it did or didn't, it's a pattern you absolutely want to be focused on. Now, everything did not work yesterday. We had quite a few trades. I'm only showing you a few, and I'm going to go